Hi everyone, this is Jennifer Bamer, owner-operator of Expertly Diet Art by Science. This is episode 14! Yay! So, it's been a little while since I made an update vlog video. Certainly not daily, and part of the reason is I switched jobs. Not switched, but kind of got promoted. So they took me from teaching and transferred me to the research and development of my company. So basically, what I end up doing now is I'm making textbooks, or workbooks rather, um, for our students. So something about the textbooks that we normally teach from, they're English books that students in America would be learning from because it's the native language, but they are not quite focused for the specific needs of an ESL learner that learn Korean as their primary language. So we're trying to fill that need by building up the research and development of textbooks and workbooks specifically catering to that need. And my boss, which is actually one of the board members of our company, his boss is one of two CEOs. How cool is that? um, he is a native English speaker from America, and he has lived in Korea for at least 30 years. So he actually has near native fluency in Korean. So like he knows what is needed because he can speak both languages really, really well. So if a student like doesn't understand something, it makes sense to us. When we were growing up, it made sense to us, but not to them because the way that they order their sentences is completely different than the way we do as English speakers. So this is actually a really cool development for me. And even though I really miss my students because some of them are really, really cute, I think that this is a much better situation for me because I hate being micromanaged. And I know like I probably shouldn't say this on the internet, but I I don't know. I just if you tell me how to do a job or what to do for a job, I will figure out the best way to do it and then just do it. But if you're always questioning me and like putting these absurd deadlines on me that I have like no possible way of fixing, it really frustrates me and angers me. And I just work better if someone gives me a clear set of rules or goals. I will do it. I am that kind of worker. So in this position, I have sort of not dictated my own rules, but I've been given rules and then I figure out the best way to do it and just do it. And my boss does not micromanage me like that, which is a blessing. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so that is the first reason why I haven't really been doing these daily vlogs, because I went from teaching 6 hours a day, or we have an hour prep before teaching, and then I would have 6 hours of teaching afterwards. This job is more like a 9-hour day instead of a 7-hour day. So I work like 11 to 8 or 12 to 9. So I don't have a lot of downtime to do these kinds of videos, which is a little bit unfortunate because I like just chatting about stuff and talking about Korea because there's a lot of interesting things that I keep observing. And I'm like, oh, I need to talk about that, but then I don't have time. So that leads me to point number 2 of this video. So for a little over a week, I had a fever blister right here. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. It's basically one of the types of herpes that kind of manifests on the face. It's contagious, but it's not if you don't kiss me. So if I have one, don't kiss me. If you see someone who has one, don't kiss them. It's not the genital type, so I don't have to worry about that. But when it comes up, it's usually after like a cold or something. And if you'll remember, I've been sick 4 times in Korea. And normally I would get one every time I was sort of feeling better from being sick. Boom! It would just pop up on my face. It'd be swollen and it would hurt. And I'd be like, oh, what's that on your face? Did somebody hit you? And then you have to say, no, and you explain, and then they're like, oh, kids. Oh my goodness, when I was in school, like grade school, the kids are merciless. They'd always make fun of me. And actually, one time I got punched in the face while I had one, and it bled, and I was screaming, and it was extremely painful. Like, oh, pity people who have them. I got mine when I was like an infant. I've had them all of my life, and they're really disturbing to have. Um, Usually I've just tried to do my best to like make it as small as possible, and you know, when I got older and I started wearing makeup and lipstick, I would like cover it up as best as I could with like makeup and lipstick, and it kind of helps, but it's still pretty noticeable. And I've also learned some sort of like home remedies to like get the swelling to go down, basically just ice. But for like a week or two, it's just there on your face and everybody can see it. Now, they make fun of me for having it in America, but in Korea it's very different. So if you have one of the other causes of fever blisters is actually extra stress or a lack of sleep. So we were under a deadline to finish a workbook that had lessons that were entirely devised by me, my boss, and my other coworker, and we had to come up with a supplementary material to go with it. And we had a looming deadline. We seriously had like a week to finish this project. It was barely halfway done. We did finish the project, but it was very stressful getting through everything, and I ended up staying late a few times. But because one of these fever blisters popped up on my face, my boss was like, "Oh, I should tell the CEO about this so we can get a little extension." And we got an extension. I don't know if it was directly a cause of that, but he, like, all the people in my office they're mostly Koreans. In fact, I think for me and my coworker, the only two, or well, and my boss, we are the only three non-Koreans. But I don't want to count my boss because he speaks fluent Korean. We don't. Me and my coworker, we do not. We know a little bit, that's it. And so the CEO took note of it, and he was like, "Oh," you know, pointing to it and like, "Oh," because it's a sign that I guess I was working very hard and staying very late, and that I was putting forth a lot of effort. And let me tell you, for all the times that I've had one of these things, I have never, ever had that type of response in my life. So it was kind of an interesting cultural experience because, I mean, in Korea, they certainly work a lot. I've known people that they'll put in a 10-hour day, 6 days a week, and often volunteer to come in on like Sundays to do extra types of teaching classes. I like my weekends. I like working sort of a 40-hour work week. But I mean, they really work towards getting promotions and that sort of thing, so I can understand. But anyway, it was just interesting how they reacted to my fever blister, and I guess if I ever get one in the future, I shouldn't try to hide it so much because I get pity here. Anyway, so that's why I have been busy and unable to do daily vlogs, and how Koreans respond to people who have fever blisters. So if you have fever blisters and you're in Korea, don't fret too much if you have one and a Korean sees you, because they're going to think you're a really hard worker. Anyway, so if you like this video, please subscribe. I will talk more about Korea. I will do more tutorial videos. By the way, I'm going to be uploading one later today, which will be in the past for you, so I don't know why you mentioned that, but there you go. So subscribe, like my videos, spread the word. Bye!